Hello, hello. Hello, hello, everybody. Guys, welcome to the first episode of Noli and Friends. I'm here with the wonderful, the beautiful, the incredible Miss Eura PSD. Hello.
Hello.
Wait, I forgot that chat pops up behind Bunny. Wait, we can do an easy fix.
No, it's okay. Just have
Whoop.
Bunny cover up chat. No
Whoop.
problem.
We start off with a
Oh,
scuff. This is the best way to do it. We start off with a scuff.
perfect.
Ah, welcome though, guys. This is the first episode of Noli and Friends, a podcast where I talk with creative friends, whether they be keyboards, non-keyboards, whatever you want it to be. We talk about what drives us, what makes us be creative, why we're creative, what inspires us, so on and so forth. A big congratulations to Mr. Pizza Force though for getting into grad school. Everyone could say a big congrats. That'd be a major pog. Also, Matt Cat Pete, thank you so much for 5 months. He just farted. That's
I
good.
love that for him.
But yeah, big congrats, Mr. Pizza Force. But Yura, how are you?
I'm okay. I've been very busy, but good busy.
Busy's good. I think for the most part, busy seems to be good, at least in our field.
Yeah, I think so.
I appreciate you.
Been a little crazy.
Big set for Mr. Mendax. I appreciate you being the first guest on here. I wanted someone who I consider a good friend on to tell me kick this off. So, like you said, if we scuff, we scuff together.
Dude, if we scuff, at least you're comfy with it, you know? It's all
if
right.
At least it's on brand with most of the keyboard hobby scuff streams. At least it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. It is truly meant to be. We do be loving the scuff streams.
So I guess just to start us off, would you like to give like a little bit of like intro to yourself? Anything that I guess like you would say would be a good introduction to you.
Right, dude, every time someone raids me, I have this whole like spiel planned out, and I know that every time I'm prompted to do so, I forget something. So, if I forget something, you'll know if I forget something.
If you forget something, I'll fill in the blanks.
Yeah, if I forget something, just fill in the blanks for me. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Yura, and I am a keyboard and keyboard related art streamer. I also design a number of products in the keyboard space. But yes, pizza, I should just say small dog owner. That is my branding. I'm a small dog owner.
We do love Bunny.
But yes, we do love Bunny here. She's behind me today. Bunny, you
I,
wanna say hi?
I thought that was a
There.
pillow.
No, that's Bunny. This is she just got a haircut. She's like extra small.
Ah, but keyboard streamer. Have you designed anything of significance that's coming up soon?
Oh, what? No.
What?
What?
No.
No.
For those,
Oh no, you go.
oh no, I was just gonna say for those of you who don't know, this year PSD is designer of the incredible Cam Little Dragon. It's going into group by next week, correct?
Oh my god, yeah, it's next week.
It's kind of nuts. I feel like we've been like talking about this set for almost a year now.
Dude, I just like it's so weird because I designed that set almost a year ago. So for it to finally be in group buy, I honestly woke up this morning, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's happening next week."
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Since we became friends, what like November? I feel like that's like probably a good like range, October, November, sometime around there. I
I think it's before October.
It might have been. I guess I
I
remember
think
when
it
we
was
met.
September.
I remember when we first started like talking though. You showed me Cam Little Dragon. I'm like, oh wait, this is incredibly adorable. And I remember asking like, when's it going on sale? And you're like, that's a great question. And here we are, almost 9 months later, I guess.
Oh no, I think it was October. You're right.
It was
So here's
sometime
the
around
thing,
then.
is that we had our group buy like date set since late October, early November.
Oh, that's crazy. Was it
So
just
we've had June planned for ages now, like since the interest check came out.
it was just because it was just so backlogged that they had to do it over the summer.
I mean, they were like, "This is the only available date we have," and I was like, "That's fine.
If it
Take it,
works, it works.
Mike.
Listen,
I'll take it. I'll take anything.
if it works, it works.
If it
Was
works,
there
it works."
was there a reason that you decided to go with like I guess like you just wanted to design off? I can't remember what the anime is off Cam Little Dragon.
Dragon Maid?
Yes,
Yeah.
just very uwu.
So, so actually, so I've always wanted to design a Kana set or like a Dragon Maid set. But I was just kind of like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But then I had people approach me and they were like, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah,
Let's roll with it.
yeah, let's roll with it." And then they were like, "Okay, this is what we have so far." And I was like, "No,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna be direct. I'm gonna be designing this set from here."
yeah. Well, listen, it came out incredibly well. It's incredibly cute, incredible uwu, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited for it. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while now.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
but I guess this is the question I kind of want to start off with every guest. But what kind of got you started in this creative space, whether it be graphic design or I guess art in general?
So my community knows this, but I actually went to school for illustration for entertainment arts. So I was actually studying for 6 years to go into background painting for cartoons. That
That's really
was,
interesting.
well, my original goal was to go into feature film. And then 4 years in, I was like, I wouldn't like feature film because I am someone who gets bored quite easily. I like things that move fast paced. So for me, it was like do I want to stay on one project for 4 to 7 years and then not even have it be guaranteed that it's gonna, like even air? And then I was like, not really. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'd be happier in TV because in TV, your work actually gets shown. Like it's not just concept art, it's like art that literally goes on the show. And then B, it is fast paced. But the issue with it is like, do I want to do like 30 backgrounds an episode and episodes air weekly?
At least that
Not
point was
really.
always. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hmm.
No, no,
Oh, I was
sorry. I
just
didn't
saying
mean to interrupt.
because each background, only gets shown for like a few seconds at a time.
Do you
If you're looking at an animation, it's like, so what I mean by background is like literally like the setting that the characters live in,
hmm
like they like talk and walk in, and it's like,
that's interesting. What is there a reason? I guess like did you ever like work on like projects like involving that in college before going more so into graphic design?
oh, like why did I get into it?
I sort of, yeah.
So growing up, I guess I just wanted to do something that would impact or be involved in other people's lives. And so for me, it was like I grew up consuming a lot of media. I grew up watching a lot of TV, like a shit ton of TV and movies. And so for me, it was like how can I do something with my life that contributes and gives back to, other people's childhoods? Because consuming media for me was like these people indirectly and directly affected how I grew up and how I view the world and like how I, just enjoy things. And so for me it was like oh, I wonder how I can give back. And the most obvious way was movies. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to do movies. And then I wanted TV and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do TV. But the thing for me was like it didn't matter what exactly I was doing as long as it is involved in other children's childhoods.
You wanted to
No
help
matter
make
big
other
or
people.
younger.
You wanted to like help make other people happy.
Yeah,
I'd say that's kind of
that
like.
was my goal.
I'd say it's kind of like similar to me in a sense. I think I've just been like making videos since I was a kid, like 12 years old. And it went from like skate videos to short films with my friends to skits and then anything and everything in between. But I think that also like came from like a deep love for like watching. Like I grew up watching movies with my parents and watching TV with my parents like consistently almost every day, like some kind of form of media. Um, but I feel like did you have a like any like specific piece of media that you definitely think like has deep roots in the reason you're doing what you do now?
I mean, a lot of it is Disney. I think a lot of it was Disney. A lot of it was Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. So a lot of my goals in college were to, get a job at Disney, get a job at Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, basically anything that I was consuming a lot of. Um, but yeah.
I, I was definitely big on the. I was just having a conversation with like Disney Channel original movies and how I feel like at least like definitely like in our age bracket, these movies have such a, like an insane like mental block in our heads that just refuse to budge.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know.
Like
People
like
don't just like forget these things that easily.
it is like I feel like the media like we bring in like as kid like it's like funny like you hear like parents talk about how like the media you're watching now like is like sort of like poisoning kids' minds and like affecting how they're gonna be when they grow up. But like I feel like a lot of like the people in the creative field like that's exactly what happened, but in a positive way.
I agree.
Do you have any? What's your favorite Disney movie?
Probably Aristocats.
Wow, I don't know why I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's my
Aristocrat.
favorite, I think. Yeah.
That movie like scared me as a kid. I like for no particular reason. That movie and All Dogs Go to Heaven terrified me as a kid for absolutely no reason.
Really?
I wish I had a logistical one, but I don't. Like I used to watch them like this movie these movies don't sit right with me.
I think my favorite Disney princess film is probably Tangled, though.
I think that's the one I have. That is like the only one I think I haven't seen.
What?
I know. I recently saw I say recently, but it's been like 2 years now. Moana. I loved. That's like I watched
I
that and it was
love
incredible.
Moana.
I think
Yeah,
it
Moana
was
was
like
good.
that is the one of the first Disney movies that I feel like hit dry humor so like nail on the head like with some of their bits. Like I think specifically I think I can't remember his name but the chicken is like this like level of like it's like dry humor but he's just so like over exaggerated and it cracks me up.
I do want to say Alan Tudyk is a man of great talent. Great talent. I love his voices in Moana as the chicken. I don't remember the chicken's name, but he was very good.
Also, thank you, Diego Smitty, for tier one. 9 months. We had a stream baby. I love you.
My people.
My people are here.
My people.
um, but off of I guess like Disney. I guess more like going back to like the creative thing, creative process on things. Like, how is it you like? I feel like go about like breaking down like when you get like an idea. Like, how do you go about like breaking down that process? Is it usually like you have to sit on it for a little bit before like actually putting in the work, or are you like the type that once you get an idea, you just start running with it until it either hits a wall or keeps going?
I think it depends on the time of day for me because it also depends on how bored I am. Oh, and it also depends on if I'm procrastinating on a project or not. If I am procrastinating, I will just fucking, oh, I have some. This other thing can wait. I gotta like do this right now. So it depends. It depends on like very heavily like what I'm doing. Um, yeah, but I just kind of steamroll my way through things.
Yeah, I've definitely I feel like when I was working on projects, when I was like working with like Major League Baseball at the time, I'd be like working on projects that like obviously had to get done. But in the back of my head I guess being like, man, I have all these like personal projects to be working on. I'm like, I need to like get through this so I can go back to doing those. Like it's just kind of like it's just like instant, like your brain sort of like pushes you like whatever you're working on you don't want to be working on and you'd rather be working on like anything else.
Yeah, yeah. Like the Oleomats, did those in 2 hours.
I
You
was
were
there
in
for
that
that.
same night? Yeah, you were in the call when I was
I was
doing that.
I was drunk home from
Yeah.
Korean barbecue that night.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. We were vibing, and I was doing the Olia mats. Took me 2 hours. Messaged Reagan, "Do you want to run these mats?" Noli, I have a vendor. What?
Literally, I got home. You had just started working on it because the design. It was on one of your keyboards, right? Was it the Wampus or was it a different one?
It was on the key cult illustration that it was
Yeah.
on, and I was like, that would make a pretty cool desk mat. Let me do that real quick.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my. But I guess like on like how you like start a process, like what like I guess like keeps you driven, whether it be like in the whole like your whole scheme of things, like working creatively or like on on a specific project, like what drives you?
Honestly, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to stay driven. Um, I think good music, good food. Like if I'm like sometimes only to be honest with you, sometimes I work on a project for a few hours and I look at it and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But it's way less tolerable if I have inspiration up on my second monitor, or it's way more tolerable when I have inspiration up on my second monitor and when I have snacks in front of me and good music at the same time.
You
Um,
doing you
but
do enjoy munching.
yeah, I do enjoy eating. I tried so hard to hide that on stream.
Oh, you gotta
I
own it
just
at that point. It's like part of
I
the
just
personality now.
I mean, people just like, want mukbang streams all the time now because I just eat food all the time, but it's it's hard to not. But I think in terms of like staying driven, sometimes it really is hard. But co-working with people also helps.
I've definitely that's like one thing I've like learned to enjoy, like especially from like work from home
Yeah.
this last year. Co-working is something I never like really understood because, but then I realized I'm like, oh, this is just the camaraderie you had when you were in an office, but now you can do it with
Exactly.
whatever friends you want. It doesn't matter.
And you can have, like Twitch up, you can have your music up
Hmm.
at the same time. It won't be disrupting anyone or like blocking being able to hear people because it's all over Discord. Everyone's just screaming all the time.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's definitely some
Yeah.
like at least with me like stay like it's fun like it's funny because I feel like it really does go person to person. But like when I'm editing a video, I have to have music off. I sometimes actually edit with either video game soundtracks, movie OSTs, or the obvious lo-fi beats to chill and study to. Um, but I have to I guess can't whenever it comes to like music with lyrics, I think my ADD just completely like distracts me and I can't like end up actually like focusing on cuts. At least like when making videos. I guess when
Oh.
drawing, it's actually probably works a lot better
Yeah,
in like
okay.
graphic design and
Yeah.
drawing. But like on my end of the thing, like like if I have music, I can do like I said like OSTs and stuff like that because it's meant to be background music. But like if there's lyrics and stuff, I can't even like focus. It like completely deters me.
Yeah, so I work better when I'm listening to music I can sing to or hum to. But okay, so when I'm doing motion work like in After Effects that has music, obviously you can't listen to other music, so that's like the exception. But I think for
Yeah.
when I'm like when I figure draw, I have music I can hum to because it just helps me concentrate a little better.
I watch Manoli while doing homework, and that's why I'm up late doing homework because I get distracted.
And Cat Pete, that doesn't sound like very productive.
That's not a good strat, guys. I guess I should say I'm not gonna be. I might do big sips, but I won't be redeeming. I'm probably from now when I do these, I'll be shutting off reward points. I
Yeah,
won't
you just
be.
like pause them.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
do this. I will do this one for you. Uwu, sir. Uwu.
You should return everyone's points for
Yeah,
today.
that's probably going to be the play with it. Um,
Yeah.
but it is funny because you brought it up. But what I know you said about like you like to have something up that inspires you. That actually was like one of my questions. Like, do you have like pieces of media or movies, music, anything that kind of like you feel like whenever you need a kick in the ass or you need to like stay on your like kind of like stay on the horse. Like, what's a good? What are your go tos?
Um, Industry professionals in film and TV. So
Is good.
if I ever need a kick in the ass, it's usually like, oh, let me look up Elioli. Let me look at Loish really quick. Let's look at, Dice Tutsumi, these bigger industry professionals that are well known and that I admire everything like about their work. Sorry, I have to sneeze.
Everybody say bless you. Everybody say bless you, please.
Um,
She props up a mirror whenever she needs inspo.
oh god.
Goaded.
Absolutely not. Thank you guys. But yeah, that's one. I think that's mainly what I look at. I look at a lot of classic pieces from painters that I really like. So like John Singer Sargent, sometimes I'll pull up his watercolor pieces. I'll pull up Rockwell and Leyendecker and all those good people. Um yeah.
I think mine. See, it's funny because I think mine are like a lot of like I go like if I had to like pick out like the people. I feel like whenever I'll go on binges once every at least 2 months of Casey Neistat's original short films, because the way he would do the most stupid monotonous things, but the way he films them, I don't know why, and the way he cuts the music is so like on point for me. Um, People like Edgar Wright, their his editing techniques are just so absolutely on point for me for movies like Baby Driver and like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. If I ever like just like need like a bit of like inspo, at least when it comes to like editing or keeping me going, like I'll just throw on movies like that in the background, if I can.
Yeah.
But
If I'm like watching movies in the background, I'll usually throw up like hand drawn animations.
it is funny. It goes back down to like whatever your industry is. Like some people have different senses of what inspiration is.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hello, Miss Ben.
Thank you.
Um, um, and I guess this is my personal favorite question to talk about anyone with. We've actually discussed it before, but I like to guess like touch over it again. But do you have um a pipe dream? Like, how do you feel about like the idea of like having this like this overwhelming goal that it definitely is like larger than life, but sort of like something to like I guess like reach to. Because like for instance, like
I think it would be. So here's the thing: is I did have one for a long time, and that was to work for Disney TV animation, or at least their like Disney films, and then it transitioned into Disney TV animation. And then like that was like my dream, and then with every you know passing month, it was changing to smaller and smaller studios because I liked what they were doing more. Like I knew people over at Rick and Morty, and I was like, oh, I'd like to work on Rick and Morty. Like that'd be sick. And then with every passing month, it was something that I needed to accept about myself and that I would not be happy in the animation industry, like at all. So that would probably be my pipe dream. I would never do it. And it was soul crushing when I realized that I couldn't just like deny this anymore, that I am not cut out for that industry. Um, but I think that would be my pipe dream.
I feel like a lot of it too is like I guess like not to like say like I understand where you're coming from too, where it's like it almost feels like a realization. I feel like it's always good to say too like never say never because you never. I feel like I don't know we got a lot of years left. You never know like what next steps are going to be taking. Um,
Yeah.
it's this field is a crazy thing. It's it's honestly just insane like how like things can change from day to day and you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
It's true. It is true.
You have
But
friends at Rick and You have friends at Rick and Morty.
I have friends everywhere.
Oh, you're a popular gal.
No, I mean like I guess now they're more acquaintances just because I haven't talked to any of my school friends in a long, long time.
Mm.
Um, but yeah. I have a lot of I mean, I went to art center, so it's just like you kind of have to know everyone. Like it was a lot of networking at school.
It was really
That's
interesting. Like after talking to you, I never heard of Art Center. I never realized like how significant it was until I spoke with you.
uh art center is a topic of debate, I think. Um I think if anyone is trying to go into a design school slash art school, I think there are other ways to go about things cheaper, but also more productive. Like I went to art center for 6 years straight out of high school, and I regret doing that. Like I wish I had gone to community college first. I wish I had gotten out of all of my GEs out of the way because all of those all of those classes at art center were a fucking joke, you know. So it was like, why am I paying $500 a day to go to this class when I could have paid a significant amount of less money to get it done at a CC before art center?
Do you think? I guess do you think that's actually a good way to transition into this? But like, how do you feel about like at least like for like the creative field and the arts? I guess like school because I feel like this is also like I feel like in both of our fields it's always a kind of like a bit of like a hot button subject where some people say like I personally don't think I should have gone to school. I think I should have, but I also didn't know that I was going to end up doing this until year three. It kind of just happened. I was originally doing journalism, which I think to an extent, like you may need school, but a lot of people, it's another. It kind of goes down to like you could learn your craft outside and freelance and kind of like work your way up.
So here's the thing with me is that at this point in time, everything you learn in art school, you can learn online. You are paying for the connections. You are paying for the one-on-one time with the instructor, and that's about it, right? I went to art center. I could have easily just dropped out. I could have gone to Brainstorm, which is another academy in Pasadena. It doesn't it doesn't like what's it called? They don't distribute like degrees.
Mm.
It's just like classes and stuff. You know, I could have gone to CDA, which is like another one of those. I could have gone to school. I could have attended schoolism online, which is like $500 a class. Art Center is over $20,000 a semester. I guess trimester because there are three per
Oh, so it's a
year.
trimester school.
Yeah. Well, it's not even trimester. It's 14 weeks of class, and then you have 3 weeks of break in between. And then you can choose how many. Like it's really flexible. Like as long as you don't, what's it called? As long as you don't take more than 2 consecutive semesters off, you're fine. So you can take one in a year. Like I know people who literally went to like art center for like 8 years and only did like 1 or 2 semesters per year. Um, but that's that's art center. So I feel like I was paying for the connections. I was paying for one-on-one time with my instructor, like more more personal time with my instructors. Um, but for me, like so it's like personally for me, online learning is awful because my sense of self-discipline before like the last 2 years of college for me were awful. So I would not have fared well in like an online school setting.
I definitely
Um,
get.
yeah. But do I think art school is necessary? Absolutely not. Do I think it's good to take classes elsewhere? Absolutely. You know,
Mhm.
you're not going to master figure drawing by doing it online because the whole point of figure drawing is to, observing a 3D form and putting it onto a 2D space. Learning proportion, learning perspective, like all of that comes with life drawing. So I do think school has its value, but I don't think that for the animation industry itself, I don't think it's imperative that you go to school. I know dropouts. I know of dropouts that work at Hasbro. I know of dropouts that do board games and that work at DreamWorks. It's like you don't need a degree.
It's your work really talks in this industry, no matter what.
Yeah.
Degrees, I'm sure help, but if you're good at what you
Yeah.
do, no one gives a shit. You know,
Mhm.
like when I was at MLB, two of the I'm pretty a producer and a fellow video editor they never went to school. They just did it. They just started picking up work, figuring out freelance work, and just continued working on their craft. They got really good at it.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm definitely I share those kind of same thoughts. And it like I guess like one thing school I always will credit school. I was a terrible student in high school. I wasn't even that great of a
Oh.
student in college, but it gave me like when I got to college I realized I'm like this matters now. Like I can't just like mess around and screw myself over. Like this is now important. I need to at least to an extent try. And like I learned how to study. I learned how to I guess discipline myself a little more. It took we joke. Me and my sister actually graduated a year early, and we were joking at the dinner table after. We're like, "What's more impressive, me graduating in 4 years or her graduating in 3?" And we all collectively said me graduating in 4 years was a landmark achievement in our household. Uh, but it is funny though because I connections are good. I actually don't even think I wouldn't say I'd say I have two connections in this industry from school, but they're more just friends I talk to. I don't really go to them for stuff like this. Um, but I like that's like one thing I'll give it credit for. It made me a more disciplined person, a more disciplined worker. I do wish that I could have just taken that away without having to go to school for 4 years though. Because if I could go back
Yeah.
and just work on my craft strictly, because I feel like even in my classes that were involved in my field, I was going home and YouTubing the stuff and learning more from there than I was in class. And
Sometimes sometimes in-person instruction isn't the easiest way to learn sometimes.
it was especially, I think it was just very, it's good like when you're, like when it came to like video editing at least, it was strange because like it'd really be like 20 minutes of teaching and then 40 minutes of working on computers. And you'd ask for help in between. But if you already know this stuff, you just breeze through it. It's for it's interesting. It's all case by case, obviously, too. Like some people just really needed the like that one on one spirit, or I should say one on one, but like that in person experience of like having someone over your shoulder helping you through it. Um, it's always like a tricky subject. I think that's why people keep talking about it now, especially for like what we do. College is more about time management and learning how to teach yourself in a lot of classes. It is built in the curriculum in a lot of cases. I agree with that too, and it's kind of like there's like a discussion about like some jobs as long as you have a degree they'll take you simply because they know they're like all right if this person went through 4 years of school and successfully got out they're probably capable of doing at least like some sort of work correctly or like figuring it out. Obviously,
Some
that
research. Yeah.
yeah exactly. Exposure at all also worth the cost. Yes, you can Google anything, but you expose yourself to the concepts in order to instead of Googling or YouTubing it. And that's like it's kind of the same. And I feel like for different people too, it all depends. Like I don't think everyone's capable of just learning off YouTube. I think us growing up, especially, like I feel like we were in the we started in the golden age of YouTube and just kept progressing past it. Like that's I still learn things from Google almost every other day. Like when it comes to like video editing techniques, lighting, the videography, photography, literally anything.
I think the one thing I didn't do in school was what you guys just talked about, actually. There were, I did self research all the time, but that was because my assignments required me to do that. But I don't think there was ever a moment where there was a concept that I wasn't grasping because a lot of the concepts I was already exposed to were abstract, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only times they weren't were like, how does light work, right? I think that was like, unless there was a direct concept where it's like not abstract, I think that would have been the time to do it, but it was never like, we never got into like the nitty gritty of it. right? And we
Like
also, yeah, like I don't know.
like details were never like gone over. It was kind of like unless you asked about them, like very specific things were never kind of gone over.
It was more just like a okay, so if this surface is blue and there's a red light hitting it from the top and the green light hitting it from the left and a yellow light hitting it from the right, what would it look like?
That question made my
Right?
head want to explode.
Yeah. And then we do it and then we bring it in next week and it's like, is that right? You know? It's like directly asking ourselves things and then presenting it. But like you can't just Google. I
That
mean, I guess
specific
I guess I guess
situation.
you I guess you could Google it, but I mean, how many answers would come up? Like the only times I would really think about Googling something were like, okay, so what is in charge of I guess the only times I would Google something is if it was like extreme, like scientific nitty-gritty, like this is anatomy, this is physics. But even then, it wasn't ever like super in depth because we don't need to know the laws of physics. Like for animation, you do need to know the laws of physics, right? But for illustration, it was like as long as it looks correct, you can get by. Is your red my red? That's another thing. It's like we all perceive color differently, you know?
That was a
So
conversation I remember we had like when it was way back when. But I remember we were talking about I'm a keycap concept, and you're like your colors are all different than mine. When
yeah,
trying to like explain things, you're like, this is not going to look the same to everybody. You gotta be prepared for that.
it's not. And also monitors are a whole nother beast and it's like uncalibrated monitors. And normally now in today's society people use gaming monitors which have awful color accuracy. So it's like a lot of it is really just
Not me here with two gaming monitors. Couldn't
I
be
mean,
me.
you can calibrate them at home without a little device. You could do it like using your Windows settings. Like they have a in monitor calibration system.
It's so
So
interesting, like the fact that like how like important that is, and just like at least comparing like especially with what you do, just like but the difference between Pantone, Rowlux, just everything like everything is different, and everything and how like there's no like sort of set standard. It seems like everyone kind of uses what they think is best.
here's the thing: is actually Pantone is universally used in the U.S. Raul is German, so most companies are not going to be using Pantone. So if you do like, if you want to get like enamel pins done, your paints will be assigned to Pantones. Fabrics will be assigned to Pantones. You know, um, manufacturers in China use Pantones. Like at work, we send over Pantone codes. Like my workplace has like the brand color palette, and each color in the color palette has its own Pantone. Pantone is universally used. RAL is not. GMK uses RAL. That's why everyone uses RAL for GMK.
Because they're German.
Yeah, but also RAL is designed for plastics,
Oh, so it's specified.
so it's specified. Pantones, the finish of Pantone coated and uncoated, neither of them are suited for plastics. Um, RAL is. Like if I take out my RAL deck, it's literally like the finish is easiest for GMK to match to. So
It's interesting though. I honestly didn't even know to that extent like how specific it was. The fact that there's a color matching specifically for plastic is an insane concept on its own to me.
I mean, like again, most manufacturers in China actually just use Pantone because everyone uses Pantone. You
That
know,
was all. Wow, I feel like everyone kind of knows Pantone to a certain extent outside of this hobby. Rao, this is the first time I had ever heard of it. Was when probably we started talking.
I mean, also like, see, there's, I can go very in depth on like the differences between RAL and Pantones, but we're not going to do that because no one needs.
To
It's
know.
no to know. It's just like GMK prefers RAL because they are specified to plastics. Pantone is universal, and everyone knows it. Everyone has heard of Pantone because they make products that are outside of just the Pantone decks, right? Um, so Yeah. I mean, like, I don't. I had a train of thought and then I lost it.
When I tell you, if I get $1 for every time I've lost my sentence mid sentence, I could buy a penthouse in New York, no problem. Probably, maybe half of one. Ash Keeves, hello, honey. Um, but I guess I'm moving past this a little bit. Is there any not sort of I guess not to be confused with pipe dreams, but are there any like passion projects that you're currently working on like outside of Cam Little Dragon or anything that you're I guess you're allowed to talk about like in the future that you're like really hoping to get your hands on or start working on? Like any ideas in general?
Start working on?
Like whatever, like outside of like work and Cam Little Dragon, are there like any projects that you really at least are you allowed to talk about that you're hoping to, whether it just be an unnamed for future keycap set, future desk mats, anything like that, collaborations of any sort.
So, okay, so I have a pipe dream keycap set,
Okay.
and it will stay a pipe dream because I'm never coming out with it.
Can I ask why?
A, people would compare it to GMK dots.
Oh no.
B, um, people would probably just call me unoriginal. And C, I don't want to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form to the source material. Um, but basically, what I was going to do was because I think it's funny how the entire hobby preaches, oh, no color theory. Um, color theory is not necessary in any way, shape, or form. It is just a way of thinking and a way to see color and interact with color and see colors interact with each other. You know, that's that at its core is color theory. You don't need to know color theory, and you can't just tell people apply color theory because to the average person that doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. Um, so for my pipe dream, it was going
Kool-Aid.
to be an homage to Joseph Albers, who is a very big figurehead in color theory and in the history of color. So he has many of you have probably, if you've stepped into an art museum, you've probably seen his work. But basically, um,
And don't
he
and
has
feel
a
free
series.
if you don't want to go too in depth in an idea that you like may or may not want to work on in the future, just for personal reasons. I totally understand.
No, I'm gonna go in. I'll go into it because I know I'm not gonna do this. Also, if anyone else would like to do this, I would like to see how they interpret it. But basically, it was gonna be Cam because of the shape of the profile. But basically, Joseph Albers has a series of paintings called Homage to the Square. And if you stepped into an art museum and you've seen a painting with a square inside of a square inside of a square inside of a square, that is in his series. Um, and basically, that series was like an exploration of color. He wanted to see how color interacted with each other. He wanted to see if those color combinations evoked any moods in people or observers of the paintings. Right? That's when people shit. Okay, I'm getting on a tangent here, but when people shit on fine art, it's like, or not fine art, but I guess just like people like Mondrian and like Albers and Rothko. It's like it doesn't matter what the piece looks like because it was merely exploration. It was research, right? Um, so he created this series called Homage to the Square. And basically, my idea was like a square instead of a square on the keycap, and the entire set was like that. So it would be like a set of blanks. It would basically be formatted like GMK dots. Like it would be a legendless keycap set. Um,
And just like different colors across the board.
Not different colors across the board, but it would be because I initially thought of that, and then I was like, that's just like way too much color matching. Like way, way, way too much color matching for my
Makes
tangible
GMK
brain.
makes Dracula look like a cakewalk.
Yeah, so it was not something in my realm of interest because of that format. So I was gonna have three different kinds. I was gonna have the light version, I was gonna have the black version, and not a monochromatic, but like a more colorful version. Um, and it was going to be like modeled after actual paintings in the Homage to the Square series, and I wanted it to be fully licensed, and have the Albers Foundation and have the proceeds go to the Albers Foundation. Like that's what I was going to do, and then I was like, people would hate me because it'd be like, oh look, it's GMK dots but squares inside squares and cam, not GMK.
If you want my opinion, which could mean jack shit to you, I think you should still go for it because that sounds really cool. For one, when has that ever stopped anyone? Two, if anyone can't see the difference, that's their fucking problem also. Like, I'm interested in this. I think that's cool. I think that's a very unique design. Like, yeah, I guess because it's got the same pattern, but how many other keycaps that's doing that? You know, I don't think it's a very necessary. I don't think it's like a gatekeeped idea. And especially if you give the proper context, which you clearly do, I don't think ideas like that are a bad idea at all. I think that's definitely something if you would want to put your time to it. I think you're leaning too much towards the worst a little bit there. I think I believe people would react a little more positively than that. I'm sure you're gonna get trolls because I designed a Greek keycaps. I designed a Greek themed keycap set, and people are still trying to figure out why there's Greek sublegends in it. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, I swear to God, some people in this fucking hobby don't know how to fucking read.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, like, most of it is also just like I'd want to do this when when Keyrative isn't so backlogged.
Yeah.
No, I'd want to do this.
Some of us can't type
not
too.
When wait times are a year, you know.
I did look up though. Homage to Square. I've seen these before. I've seen his work before. It's just
he's very famous.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's fun. I'd say like I'm a big. It's funny. Like I feel like I sound so fake when I say I love museums. Like whenever I go to new cities, I museum hop. Like that is my idea of fun. I'm visiting LA so I can go to a museum. But it's fun. Like as much as like I love looking at fine art, I know nothing. I know like so little about like artists and like I'll read the descriptions, but like I know so little about like the background of it. It's funny like how much I feel like I've seen and I just have no idea.
Yeah. I mean,
I enjoy the smooth brain experience.
that's okay. I mean, it's okay. I don't think it's necessary for people to, you know, like, absolutely memorize like every single person they see in a museum. You know, I'm not gonna like hang out with you at fucking what's it called, like the Broad, and then expect you to know immediately who Barbara Kruger and Jeff Koons are. Like,
me,
or like come out of there and be like, oh yeah, this is a history of Jeff Koons. You know,
Steve Keeves has a smooth brain. Color go burr.
okay, but color as a topic itself is crazy. Like that, like the topic of color in itself is absolutely bonkers.
Color in this hobby alone makes me sick. But like when I go to music, color's an incredible thing in the sole fact that like I'll go to a museum and I'll look and I'm like, why do I feel these things? Like why is this shade of red making me feel such despair for no reason?
And that's like Rothko's whole thing. You know, is like you sit in a room and you sit in front of a painting that's 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide by 10 feet tall, and it's just a shittily painted rectangle, a shittily painted line, and then a shittily painted rectangle. They're all different colors on one background, and then you're like,
and they're my favorite. They're my favorite.
Why am I so fucking sad?
I've stared at them.
You know?
I've stared at them for over 10 minutes before I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I can't tell if I'm being dramatic or not, but I can't like stop staring at this. I don't know
Yeah, and it's
why.
like, I was being dramatic, but Rothko, I mean,
Go away,
it's like
green.
blurred rectangles, and you're like big rectangles, and you're like, why do I feel like my life is like passing before my eyes? And I walk into a different room, and it's basically like a similar painting, same lighting, same everything, same size. The only difference is color, and you're like, why do I feel much lighter now? Colors are weird. Colors are crazy, you know? And then you have to think about like designing for color blindness and designing for accessibility. And that in itself is another topic because it's like, okay, well,
And that's like
how
a
does
crazy, because
that work?
that's something I feel like the average, like I've never even like once, like when I'll be like, and I'm in no way consider myself a designer. And it's just like, I never even think about like that kind of consideration either.
Yeah.
And then, and Snoop brought it up. I literally just saw TikTok about this Disney's Go Away Green. Just talk about color. They created the perfect real life camouflage to make people not give a shit about it. Go Away Green. Unbelievable.
Go away, green.
Wisdom with Eura. This is why I wanted to have this. Like it's stuff like that that I really wanted to like have guests on and like talk about things because like I have no knowledge of this stuff, but like I'm incredibly interested. I want people, other people out there, including my like just not even just for me, but other people to I don't know, like learn from this. I find that incredibly interesting. Um, because like I said, like I'm a very smooth brain museum goer, but like you are clearly like you clearly look at it from a much different perspective than I do, but we both appreciate it for what it is.
Um, I mean, that's really the most anyone could ask for is just acknowledging something and maybe not even appreciating. I think acknowledging something and that it happened is like the most you could ask of anyone, you know? You go to a museum with someone and their reactions are either okay, cool, or I don't really understand it, but this is a thing. And then you have people that go, why is this here? And that's almost in a sense not acknowledging it. It's acknowledging it, but also dismissing it, which is really like, are you acknowledging it, at that point? And so it's like, I think the most you can do, or the most you can ask of anyone is to just acknowledge something.
I guess I just want to be appreciated. I want to be appreciated.
Well, I appreciate
But
you.
no, but I definitely I get that. I at least like even like from a personal level from my stuff. Like it's that's like one thing like I find that's been cool like getting eyes on my own work. Obviously, my YouTube channel and my Twitch is no music, is no Lakma, no MoMA, but like you said, even just being like recognized and acknowledged for like certain pieces of work, whether you liked it or not, it's an incredible feeling. I feel like you have to feel the
Hmm.
same with it, like especially with stuff like Camo Dragon, just like having your pieces of work appreciated for what they are, or like you said at the very like acknowledged.
Yeah, yeah. It still blows my mind that people like this set.
I don't know why. I don't know why you're so shocked.
It's just really bad imposter syndrome. That's all it is.
I think everyone in this field and any creative in general feels that sense of imposter syndrome, but I feel like it's one of
Yeah.
those things like you kind of just need to bat away because it does not it's all a head game.
It is a hollow
um,
head game, for sure.
yeah.
It's it's weird. Oh,
Imposter
you know
syndrome is a
I'm
scary
joking
thing.
when I yell at you about it, though.
um just because we're pretty much at our hour mark though, does anyone have in chat any questions they'd like to ask Yura specifically before we let her go, because I'm holding her hostage right now.
Oh yes,
You
you have me
guys
held here against my will.
from opposite ends of the country. It's interesting because most of these great artists weren't actually appreciated in their lifetime. Yeah, and that is a who. There's a photographer. I watched this Netflix documentary. I don't even know if it was on Netflix. Hello, sir. Um, Finding Vivian Myers. If you've ever seen it or heard of her, she's like one of like the pioneers of street photography, and nobody knew she was even a photographer until someone at a estate sale bought all these undeveloped film, and developed into like these are some of the most incredible like photos I've ever seen. And this woman was a babysitter that walked around with a camera and died 20 years before her film was ever developed. It's just kind of crazy how like life. Whoop, Edward, ah, he sat on my macro pad, and this is why I don't let you on my desk anymore.
Oh, Edward.
Sorry about that, friends.
He just wants to be acknowledged, like the
Edward,
rest of us.
I just want to be acknowledged. What is something from this basic build's bin honey? What is something you hope to accomplish in your job and a goal you have to accomplish this year?
I think I think my goals in my job are very different from wanting to accomplish outside of it in this year. Um Mainly just because like for my job, I've mainly just been focused on like how can I be a positive energy to the people I directly work with. That is like my only that I mean that's like one of the biggest goals for myself for my job. Um we have stressful deadlines. Thing energy can run high, you know, and we can all feel it. And so for me, it's mainly just like a how can I be a positive energy for the people at my workplace, you know? Um, so that's like one of my main goals. Mainly just because like I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of like, oh, I think it'd be really cool to be able to, design kids' toys and children's products that go into these shippers and have people actually enjoy them. Like that's like my main goal, right? Is like how can I create something delightful that both a parent and child can look at together. Um, but that's like that's like a longer term goal. My short term goal is really just how can I be positive?
It's a good thing to. That's a good
Um,
thing to. It's a good goal to have, though.
yeah, I think so. And then I think a goal I have to accomplish this year is probably just I think my biggest goal is honestly to be better integrated and be better socially after not being physically social with people for over a year. Because I'm very introverted, right? So like for me it's like a I just want to extend my social battery. That's like my only goal for this year is like when I move to LA, I'm gonna want to meet all my new friends that I made online. I want to like see my, my friends from school. But it's really just like I want to see all these people, but I can't do it for more than 30 minutes at a time right now. I need to extend that social battery so it's way longer. That's my main goal for this year is just building up my social battery again.
To be totally honest, I feel like it's going to be a lot of people's goals too, because I feel like
Oh, for sure.
everyone's going to get
Yeah.
drained very quick. Everyone keeps joking about I can't wait to get back out there, but I really feel like a lot of us, like even me
Yeah.
included, who I feel like has a pretty decent social bad. Like I can already tell like I'm going to definitely need
It's gonna
to
run
whip
out.
it back into shape.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be like everyone's goal, but like for me personally, that is that is a goal I will be prioritizing throughout this year for sure.
And I think it's very reasonable and good on you for wanting to do something like that. At least like no, like I need to break out of this bubble.
Dude,
Um,
it's really bad because like I was eating out last week or like a few weeks ago, and I had like 3 lines of conversation in total with my waitress, and there was a lot of noise outside because we were eating outdoors, and like I was exhausted after like an hour. And I was like, was outside for an hour. There's a lot of noise. And I've only spoken like 3 lines of conversation to this waitress. And I'm like falling, like, I'm like, I need to get out of here. I was like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. So,
I feel like we're all gonna get some reps in this summer.
for sure.
Um, I feel like I saw this and I wanted to ask this because I think we talked about this a while ago, but I like this question a lot from Snoop Dogg. What do you what do you wish you could have told your younger you? Like I say like what's one thing you would like to go back in time and tell your younger self?
Stopping a fucking pushover.
I love it.
That's stopping a fucking pushover. Say no. Cut shitty people out.
Fuck yeah.
That's the one thing.
That's
That's the
good
one thing.
that's good advice though. I have
Yeah.
problems with that.
I still have problems with it, but when I was
Saying no is
younger, I had much more problems with it than I do now.
saying no is an incredible strength to have. That is like an exercise, I feel like saying no to somebody or something.
I think so too. It's a skill. I think that people need to be learning how to be direct and learning how to say no is definitely a skill that people have to develop. And it
And I
was
think
just something that I didn't develop until I was like fucking 22.
it's tough because I feel like I feel like it's just this thing where I feel like we think that saying no is an insulting thing and that we're going to hurt people's feelings. Where it almost leads to worse things if like you're not committed to something. Like what no matter what it be. I guess it's all circumstantial obviously. But if you can't say no to something and you commit to it, you could end up just making it worse because obviously you're not going to want to put 100% into it and it's going to drag other people down. Whether it be like, it doesn't even have to be like anything crazy, but just, it is an exercise in discipline for sure to like, no, I want to say no. I don't want to do something or I don't want to deal with you as a person.
Yep.
Um, but I think that's good. We're at about an hour and 7 minutes. I obviously don't want to. I want to keep it around an hour. I don't want to hold you hostage. Like I said, hold you hostage too long. Um, but this was really fun. I'm really happy that you were okay with being my first guest on this. I think this was I think this was really nice. I like this conversation a lot.
I mean, if people have more questions, I can stay longer.
Is any, but while people ask if anyone has any more questions, um,
Yeah.
is there anything you like to plug? Please, shameless plug.
Oh, actually, there's a giveaway going on right now.
Oh yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, let me grab the link for that. There's a giveaway going on right now that you guys can all enter until tomorrow night. When's the next stream? I stream on Thursday. Although my whole schedule is gonna be really rocky for the next month, 2 months because I am moving. So
It's so
it's gonna
exciting
be a
though.
little rocky.
Are you
Very
excited?
exciting. I am very excited. I'm super excited to go back to
Guys,
SoCal.
guys, check out that Instagram. If you, I believe you comment, yeah, you're entered, correct?
So you have to. Okay, so to give context, this is one of the desk mats that we were going to run for Cam Little Dragon, but we decided not to, because we were only allowed to run 2 desk mats. So this is a one of one pink dragon silhouette colorway desk mat. You must be
Ooh.
following the account. You must like the photo and tag a friend or two and tell us about something you're looking forward to this year in the comments. And that's it.
Share the post, why don't you? Share the post, guys. If you're gonna do it, share the post too. Show some love. Um,
Oh, shoot. I didn't change the date of it, so it ends on the 27th in the evening, not the 26th. You
you
guys
got
have
two
2.5
days.
days to enter. Oops.
If you do command guest, it'll link you to Miss Yura's Twitch channel. If you guys didn't know or you missed the beginning portion of this stream, Yura did design Cam Little Dragon, an absolutely adorable set. Beautiful pastels, great desk mats. The novelty extras are absolutely calling my name. It will be running on novel keys. Starting. Do you know the exact date? Ash keys as
Oh,
well.
June 1st to the 30th.
June
So we
1st to
have
the
an
30th.
entire list of proxies, but Novel Keys is the main vendor.
Novel Keys, main US vendor. Ash Keeps. We do be loving Ash Keeps here.
We love Ash Keeps here.
And on Novel Keys website, and if you go to, is it posted on Novel Keys yet? As like a coming
No,
soon, or so
it'll
it's not
be
posted yet.
no, not yet.
If you guys at
Everything will
least,
go live on the 1st.
if you go to the Geek Hack page, I'm sure you'll find the rest of the links. For anyone who might be looking for an international proxy.
And then here's my link tree for anyone who wanted it.
I tagged your Twitch and I meant to ask you for your link tree, and I completely forgot.
That's fine. No worries.
You can forgive me. We can let it slide this time.
No, I won't forgive you ever.
This is it. This is where we.
This is it. That's it.
But yeah, Yura, thank you so much for being the guest on the inaugural podcast of Noli and Friends, episode 001. Of hopefully many more to come. I hope you had a good enough time to where you'll want to come back in the future.
Never
ever.
I had a lovely time.
So of course, I appreciate you coming on. This will be a regular Tuesday. It'll be a Tuesday evening podcast. The times are going to be varying, usually between 6 and 10 p.m. Eastern time, depending on the guest schedule. I've reached out to the person I want to be doing for next week. I'm sort of working out the kinks as we go along, so expect more scuffs as we go, because that's just the name of the game. This will be, unfortunately, the last stream for me this week. Build, stream, or podcast. I have to run home tomorrow for several days, but I will be back most likely next Tuesday for another stream, and then with next week's guests. If you do come in Discord, that's where you guys can get updates on who will be next week's guests, my stream schedule in general. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for coming, being a part of this. Yura, I know I already thanked you, but thank you again for being on here. I really appreciate it. I wanted someone to be on as a guest that I feel personally comfortable with, and you were obviously one of my first choices for that. So thank you.
Thank you, BB.
We're gonna go ahead and raid Lightning Keyboards now. Fellow Keep streamer, if you don't know. I've never rated Lightning because he never. Now that I've been streaming daytime, he always streams usually later at night around now. I think this is I may have rated him before. But we love Diego. He actually, I've been talking with him. I need to meet him. He's a fellow New Yorker. We're both vaccinated now. But yeah, guys, like I said, please go follow Ms. Eura PSD. Make sure you check out and please consider Camel Dragon next week. Command Eura, just for the fun of it. It's been a while since I've done a Command Eura. Because for some reason I used to just scream your name at the top of my lungs when you come in the stream.
That's a great time. I haven't been that active on like other people's Twitch streams anymore. It's just too much time.
I'm a big lurker, I understand.
Yeah, big lurker.
All right, though, guys. Thank you again, Eura, guys. Go show Diego some love, and I will see you all next week, as always. Cheers, my friends. Bye, guys. Thank you, Eura.